More AEW stars have been removed from television. We're going to talk about that and the reason as to why that may be the case. Also, WWE might be signing a TNA star who just became a free agent. And no, we're not talking Josh Alexander. And yes, we are going to talk about a huge injury report. All right, everybody, I want to kick things off with injury report. JD McDonough, a lot of people were very concerned for JD after WWE Raw. As you guys know, if you watch WWE Raw, JD McDonough took some nasty hits in the tag team championship match against the War Raiders. JD McDonough was injured, and there was a moment where he actually did this really crazy dive, backflip dive, whatever, off the rope to the outside. His head hits the commentary table, looks absolutely insane. This guy continues on the match as if like there's nothing wrong. And then there's footage from fans where he's walking to the back and he like ends up collapsing. Nobody knew if that was a bit. Nobody knew if that was serious or whatever it may be. However, JD McDonough did actually come out publicly and reveal on Twitter that he was injured. He says, first off, thanks to everyone for the messages and the concern. I'm good. I've got a couple of broken ribs and a punctured lung, so I'm going to be out for a couple of months. All things considered, it could have been a lot worse, so I am grateful for that. See ya in a bit. Dude, I have no idea how JD McDonough finished this match. Honestly, like, this is one of those things where, dude, this looked so much worse than what it was. And I thought for sure, like, the match would have had to been canceled because the way his head ricochets off the commentary table, I mean, WWE takes the concussion protocol very seriously. They don't want people getting injured. They obviously don't want people wrestling while injured, let alone while wrestling with a concussion. So to me, I thought for sure this was so much worse. Obviously, it's much better that it's not those things. Obviously, broken ribs, punctured lung, that still sucks and that's still terrible, but it could have been a lot worse. I think it looked a lot worse. And this just goes to show you how much of a professional JD McDonough is. What a stud, right? You see him in NXT, you see him do his thing, and he's fantastic. He comes into the Judgment Day, and I think sometimes people forget how good he actually is. And I think yesterday was a really good reminder that he is a really, really good professional wrestler. I think a lot of people just hate the character that he portrays, but that just means he's doing a good job with his character. When he comes back in a couple months, hopefully he gets a singles push. I would love to see JD McDonough go off against Penta, go off against Braun Breaker, go off against Ludwig Kaiser. There's a lot of great talent there. Get him in the Intercontinental title picture for sure. That brings us to our next topic. Jonathan Gresham is now a free agent. He appears to be leaving TNA. Obviously, things can change. He can re-sign with TNA. Jordan Grace had confirmed in her interview with Chris Van Vliet that essentially his contract was up. It actually ended as of January 18th. Obviously, the interview went up a couple days after they did the interview, I should say. Jordan Grace did confirm that he basically has some conversations that need to be done. There's obviously a couple conversations that need to be had. A lot of people do believe that he is on his way to WWE NXT. A lot of people believe that WWE is going to find a mixed role for him. The speculation, the things that I've kind of heard was that if Jonathan Gresham were to come into NXT, there would be an opportunity for coaching and trainer position as well. I don't know exactly what WWE's plan is here. We obviously don't have confirmation that WWE is 100% going to sign him. And we also don't know if Jonathan Gresham 100% wants to even go to NXT or go to WWE. But some of the things that I've heard was that kind of like Lindsay Dorado being able to go into NXT and work NXT while also being a coach, that could be something that's on the table for Jonathan Gresham. Obviously, whether there's been a formal offer or not, we don't know. And I think maybe perhaps it's a good thing that we can say this. Maybe the opportunity with AEW is closed, right? We knew that Jonathan Gresham kind of had his issues over there, and then he went to TNA, and TNA, I do feel like they didn't book him as well as they should have. He's had some great matches in TNA, but I don't think they really did as much as they should. So if I was just giving you guys my personal opinion, I would like to see Jonathan Gresham be part of TNA, work NXT and TNA both. I would love to see him actually be given serious feuds and stuff, because he's such a talented worker. I think people forget how great he is. Some people would even say that he's one of the best in-ring performers in wrestling. So you can't forget about Jonathan Gresham when you're talking about the in-ring capabilities. Personally speaking, I would love to see him in WWE. I would love to see him in NXT. And I would love to see if WWE can figure out a way to have him join NXT while working TNA, and then eventually, when the time is right, move him on to the main roster, which I have a couple ideas for that, which maybe we could talk about at a later time. But if WWE brings him in, very solid signing. If TNA re-signs him, very solid. But a lot of the speculation is that he could be WWE bound, just like Jordan Grace is WWE bound. Okay, guys, this one's been floating around. Now there's a big update on this. There's a lot of rumors, innuendo. We got to talk about this. Rush and Dralistico they've been removed from AEW TV. Obviously, we know this. Fightful Select first reported that they were originally slated to beat the Acclaimed at the November 14th Collision taping, and the idea was for them to be sent up to Full Gear for the tag title match. However, apparently there was some heat on Dralistico and Rush for basically some incident in their match with Richard Holiday and Alec Price. And basically, Richard Holiday was being checked on the medic, and I guess they got heat because they got a little physical with him while the medic was checking on him. Dave Meltzer and Brian Alvarez are talking about the status of Rush and Dralistico, and basically they said, hey, they're not suspended, but they are not being used right now. They've been removed from TV. There's not an official suspension or fines or anything like that. There's been nothing like that. But now they're at the point where they're just kind of not being used. This is an issue for AEW. I think they put people on TV. They remove people from TV. I think that's problematic. I think it's really hard to have talent get invested, people investing in talent when they're not being used, especially when these guys have been on TV and then removed from TV, then put on TV and removed from TV. Tony Khan's solution to everything when there's an issue with talent is just remove them from TV. I don't know if I necessarily like that solution. I don't necessarily find that as a solution. If they made a mistake and if they attacked a wrestler during a time where they're being checked on by a medic, I think you can handle that with, conversations and definitely fines if you want. You could even do a suspension, but keeping people off TV, that was November, it's January. Bro, you got a TV show to put on. And the thing is, when talent get removed from TV, it's not like there's a crop of new talent being used, which is a little problematic. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the Ango Show.